My name is Renee S. Flemings. The original story never gives my exact age, so I won't invent one. What I can tell you is that I had spent 4 years believing I knew the man I was building my future with. His name was Ethan, and one glowing notification changed everything. I wasn't snooping. His phone was lying face up on the coffee table while he showered. Steam drifted from the bathroom into the hallway when the screen lit up. Melissa, his ex-girlfriend. Can't wait for Saturday. Harbor Suites, room 412. I'll be thinking about you. My entire body went cold. I picked up the phone. No password. There had never been one between us. I opened the conversation. It wasn't one message. It was a week of planning. Saturday. 2 days away. What she would wear. What he remembered about their relationship. What she missed. Then I found Ethan's message. I still think about that weekend we had together. Melissa replied, Me too. This time, maybe we don't leave the room. Ethan had sent a winking emoji. The bathroom door opened. He walked out with a towel around his waist, still talking before he noticed my face. You'll never believe what Mark said at work. Then he saw his phone in my hand. Everything changed. What are you doing? My voice sounded strangely calm. Who's Melissa? He froze for half a second, then sighed dramatically. Melissa from college. I told you about her. I know who she is. I held up the phone. Why are you meeting her at Harbor Suites Saturday? Room 412. His face drained. Then defensive anger rushed in. You went through my phone? It lit up? That's a massive violation of trust, Renee. I almost laughed. You're planning to meet your ex-girlfriend in a hotel and we're discussing my trustworthiness? It isn't like that. I looked down at the messages. You told her you still think about sleeping with her. That's not what I said. She said this time you shouldn't leave the room. It's flirting. Exactly. He grabbed the phone from me. Melissa is going through some relationship problems. She's lonely. I was going to talk to her. At a hotel? You're taking everything literally. I stared at him. For 4 years, I had supported his career changes, stayed beside him through his father's illness, and planned a life where he was at the center. Now he was reducing betrayal to vocabulary. You made plans with your ex, but I haven't done anything. He crossed his arms. Nothing happened. There it was. His entire defense. It's not cheating if nothing happened, Ethan said. They're messages. You're seriously going to destroy 4 years over something hypothetical? I looked at him. The anger disappeared. Not slowly. Instantly. Like someone switching off a light. Okay. He blinked. What? Okay. Confusion became relief. Then a small smile. He thought he had won. Good, he said. Can we just drop this? I nodded once. He walked toward the bedroom. Want Thai food? I'm starving. I didn't answer. That night, Ethan slept beside me peacefully. I didn't sleep at all. I lay in the darkness making a list. Documents, clothes, my desk, my computer, storage unit, movers, landlord, bank accounts, everything that belonged to me. By sunrise, I had stopped thinking about whether our relationship could be saved. The relationship was already over. Ethan just didn't know it yet. And the next morning, while he went about his life believing nothing had happened, I was going to make sure something finally did. I was leaving. Ethan's alarm went off at 6:30 the next morning. He groaned, hit snooze, and rolled toward the wall. I stayed still for a few seconds, listening to his breathing even out again. Then I got up. No tears. No shaking hands. No dramatic last look at him. Just movement. I had already written the note sometime around 3 in the morning. It sat on the kitchen counter beside his favorite mug. Now something happened. I left. Before touching anything else, I took a photo of it. Not because I expected a legal fight, because I wanted proof for myself that I had done this calmly, that I hadn't imagined the clarity I felt. I opened my laptop at the dining table and searched for same-day movers. A company called Metro Movers had a 24-hour chat. Need 2 movers and a mid-sized truck this morning. 1 bedroom apartment, mostly personal furniture and boxes. The agent replied that the earliest crew could arrive at 9. I'll pay extra for 8. There was a pause. Give us 20 minutes. Money suddenly felt different. Not like security. Like leverage. Freedom. I transferred the deposit. Then I packed. 2 suitcases with clothes. Shoes. Winter coat. Work clothes. My passport. Birth certificate. Social security card. The watch my father gave me years ago. I left the sweater Ethan bought me for Christmas draped over the chair. I left the photo strips from vacations. I left the little souvenirs we had collected together. I wasn't trying to erase 4 years. I was just refusing to drag the evidence of them into whatever came next. From the living room, I took my laptop, gaming console, and the plain wooden desk I had owned before we moved in together. I left the television, the bookshelf, most of the furniture. From the kitchen, I took the expensive chef's knife I had bought for myself and my black coffee mug. Everything else stayed. The movers arrived at 8:07. 2 men named Luis and Dave. I pointed. That desk. The gray filing cabinet. The guitar case. Those boxes. No explanations. They didn't ask. Within 40 minutes, the apartment looked wrong. Not empty. Just incomplete. My half of the closet was bare. My razor was gone from the bathroom. My shoes were missing from beside the door. The little ordinary signs that I lived there had disappeared. I walked into the bedroom one final time. Ethan was still asleep. One arm stretched across the space where I had been lying a few hours earlier. I stared at him. I waited for something. Grief. Anger. Love. Anything. Nothing came. He looked like a man sleeping in a room I no longer belonged in. I closed the door softly. By 8:55, I was gone. The movers took everything to a storage unit I had rented online. I drove in the opposite direction and checked into an extended stay hotel across town. The room smelled like artificial lemon cleaner and stale air. It was ugly. I loved it. I set my suitcase on the bed and turned on my phone. The first message came at 9:14. Ethan, you didn't wake me up. Where are you? Then, did you go to work? At 9:41. Renee? I put the phone down. I took a shower. When I came back, more messages had arrived. My desk is gone. What the hell? You took your PlayStation? Then, why is your closet empty? At 10:48, I called your work. They said you called out. This isn't funny. I ordered a mediocre sandwich from the hotel cafe and ate it at the little desk facing the parking lot. The phone kept buzzing. Eventually, a voicemail appeared. I waited until I finished eating before playing it. His voice had changed. Panic edged every word. Renee, what the hell is going on? You can't just move out while I'm asleep. This is insane. We need to talk like adults. Call me. I looked at the time. Almost noon. By then, he had definitely seen the note. Now, something happened. I left. I imagined him standing in that apartment trying to turn my departure into an argument he could win. She's overreacting. She's trying to scare me. She'll come back. But empty drawers don't debate. Missing furniture doesn't explain itself. An absent partner isn't hypothetical. I turned the phone completely off. For 3 days, I left it that way. I went to a nearby gym every morning. I bought a cheap coffee maker for the hotel room. I looked at apartment listings. I spoke to the landlord. Because most of the money going into the joint account had been mine, I transferred only my documented share into a separate account and left enough for outstanding shared bills while everything was being settled. I wanted no excuse for Ethan to say I had stolen from him. I wasn't trying to hurt him. I was removing myself. On the 4th morning, I turned my phone back on. It chimed for nearly a minute. 17 missed calls. 8 voicemails. Dozens of texts. I listened to the voicemails in order. Day 1 was anger. You've made your point. Come home. Later. My friends think this is insane. The rent is due next week. Day 2 sounded different. I talked to Melissa. I stopped. His voice continued. She said this is too much drama. She doesn't want to be involved. I almost laughed. The woman he had been willing to risk 4 years for apparently didn't even want the consequences. The next voicemail was late that night. He was crying. Please come home. I'm sorry. I didn't go. I swear I didn't go. Doesn't that matter? I deleted it. Then my phone rang. Ethan. I let it ring 3 times. Then I answered. Neither of us spoke at first. Renee? I'm here. He exhaled sharply. Thank God. Listen, just come home. We can fix this. There's nothing to fix. Silence. I moved out. You're serious? Yes. The rent. I already spoke to the landlord. I'll be removed from the lease at the end of the month. You'll need to cover it or find a roommate. Another silence. He had expected emotion. I was giving him administration. So, that's it? He whispered. You're throwing away 4 years over nothing? There it was again. Nothing. I looked out the hotel window. Cars moved steadily along the road below. It wasn't nothing to me. But I didn't go. His voice cracked. I canceled it. I chose you. No. What? You got caught. That's not fair. Whether you physically went to that hotel doesn't matter anymore. You wanted to. You planned it. You hid it. Then when I found out, you defended it. He started crying again. I made a mistake. Yes. So punish me. Yell at me. Be angry. But don't just disappear. This isn't punishment. My voice stayed calm. It's consequence. You're so cold. I closed my eyes. Maybe I was. Or maybe I had spent all my emotion before he realized the relationship was over. This is me now, I said. Then I hung up. I blocked his number. And for the first time in 4 years, the silence around me belonged entirely to me. For the next week, I treated silence like a boundary I had to actively protect. Ethan tried to reach me through other people almost immediately. His friend Lisa texted from an unfamiliar number. Hey, it's Lisa. Ethan is a wreck. He's barely eating and he might lose the apartment. Whatever happened, is this really worth destroying his life over? Please just talk to him. Be the bigger person. I read the message twice. Be the bigger person. It was one of those phrases people use when they really mean, please absorb more pain so someone else doesn't have to feel consequences. I blocked her. A few days later, another voicemail slipped through from a number I didn't recognize. Ethan again. His voice sounded hollow. Melissa used me. I sat still. She said she didn't want all this drama. She's trying to fix things with her own partner. My friends are saying they warned me. My mom is furious. I can't afford the apartment by myself. Then his voice broke. Please, Renee. I need you. I'll do anything. You win, okay? You win. I deleted the voicemail. You win. Even then, he still thought this was some contest. Like I had moved out to score a point. Like if he suffered enough, the scoreboard might reset. But I hadn't left to win. I left because staying would have meant betraying myself. Within 2 weeks, I signed a lease on a new apartment. A modern 1-bedroom overlooking the river. Nothing huge. But it was mine. The first night, I slept on a mattress on the floor because my furniture hadn't arrived yet. I woke up the next morning and smiled. No one beside me. No hidden messages. No emotional weather to monitor before deciding how my own day was allowed to feel. I bought furniture slowly. A dark gray couch. A small dining table. Bookshelves I actually liked. A new coffee machine. Every choice felt strangely significant because there was no negotiation attached. At work, something changed too. Without the constant exhaustion of managing Ethan's moods, I became sharper, focused. My manager noticed. One afternoon, she stopped beside my desk. You've been doing excellent work lately. Thanks. We're putting together a team for the Carson account. Big project. I looked up. You interested? Yes. She smiled. Good. I already put your name forward. For the first time in months, something about my future felt exciting. I started going out with coworkers after work. At first, I felt awkward. 4 years with Ethan had quietly narrowed my social world more than I realized. But slowly, I remembered how easy conversation could be when nobody was keeping score. How nice it felt to laugh without checking whether someone else was annoyed. How peaceful it was to go home without bracing for questions. Months passed. 6 of them. Ethan became less like a wound and more like a fact. Something that had happened. Something I had survived. Then one afternoon, a mutual friend named Kyle texted me. "Hey, just a heads up. Ethan knows you'll probably be at Jake's birthday thing tomorrow at the Oak Barrel. He might show up." I stared at the message. A year earlier, even the thought of that would have sent adrenaline through me. Now? Nothing. I replied, "Thanks for warning me." The Oak Barrel was crowded the next night. Jake had taken over 2 large tables, surrounded by coworkers, old college friends, and people I barely knew. I was standing near the bar with Maya from work, laughing about something ridiculous that had happened on the Carson project. I felt good. Not performatively good. Actually good. Then the door opened. I saw Ethan immediately. He looked different. His hair was styled carefully. Button-down shirt. New jacket. Too polished for the place. He scanned the room. Then he saw me. Hope appeared on his face so quickly it almost hurt to watch. Then it faded when he saw my expression. I didn't glare. I didn't smile. I simply waited. He walked toward me. "Hey." "Hello, Ethan." He stopped a few feet away. "You look really good." "Thank you." I didn't return the compliment. Silence stretched between us. He cleared his throat. "I've been in therapy." "That's good." "For months now." I nodded. "That's good too." He looked unsettled by how calm I was. "It's helped me understand a lot." I waited. "What happened with Melissa wasn't really about you," he said. "I was insecure. Lost. I wanted attention. I think I was sabotaging things because I didn't know how to ask for help." I watched him closely. The words sounded practiced. Maybe therapy had helped. Maybe he even believed what he was saying. Then he gave me a fragile smile. "But I didn't cheat, Renee. In the end, I didn't." For half a second, I almost laughed. There it was. 6 months later. After losing the relationship. After losing the apartment. After therapy. After everything. He still needed that sentence to be true. I set my glass on the bar. "I believe you're working on yourself." His eyes brightened slightly. "That's good for you." Then his face fell. "But it has nothing to do with me." "Renee." "No." I raised one hand. Not angrily. Just enough to stop him. "You were right about one thing that night." He frowned. "Words matter." He stared at me. "Your words showed me exactly what you thought our relationship was worth." His jaw tightened. I was scared. "You made plans with your ex." "I know." "You defended them." "I know." "You looked at me and told me nothing happened, so nothing mattered." He swallowed. I continued. "My leaving wasn't revenge. It wasn't punishment. It was me believing what you showed me." He looked like I had slapped him. "You didn't lose me, Ethan." His eyes filled. I left. Silence. And when I left, I found a life where I don't have to check hotel reservations or debate the definition of loyalty. I glanced toward my friends. I found peace. That was when I saw it. Not anger. Not sadness. Horror. Because pain would have meant he still had some emotional hold over me. Indifference meant he didn't. "This chapter is closed," I said quietly. "I genuinely hope therapy helps you build something healthier one day." His lips parted. "But that journey isn't with me." I picked up my glass. "Goodbye, Ethan." Then I walked back to the table. Maya looked at me. "Everything okay?" "Yeah." She glanced over my shoulder. "Who was that?" I sat down. The laughter of my friends surrounded me. Warm. Present. Real. I looked back once. Ethan was still standing beside the bar. Then I turned toward Maya. Just someone I used to know. And for the first time since that message lit up his phone, the words felt completely true. After that night at the Oak Barrel, I expected some kind of emotional hangover. I thought maybe seeing Ethan again would reopen everything. It didn't. The next morning, I woke up in my apartment, made coffee, opened the curtains, and watched sunlight move across the river. No panic. No urge to check my phone. No replaying his words. Just quiet. That was when I realized closure had happened long before I saw him again. It happened the morning I packed my life into boxes. It happened when I stopped arguing over whether hotel plans counted as cheating. It happened when I understood that respect doesn't need a technical definition. For 4 years, Ethan had been woven into almost every version of my future. Trips, marriage, maybe children, a bigger apartment. The ordinary things people imagine when they love someone. When I first left, I thought losing those plans would feel like losing part of myself. Instead, I discovered how many of them had actually been built around keeping him comfortable. That was difficult to admit. I had become good at anticipating Ethan. If he had a bad day, I softened mine. If he was insecure, I reassured him. If he wanted space, I gave it. If he needed support, I rearranged things. Somewhere along the way, being dependable had turned into being taken for granted. The texts with Melissa didn't create that imbalance. They exposed it. A few days after the birthday gathering, Kyle called. "You okay after seeing him?" "Completely. He looked wrecked after you walked away." I stared out my office window. "I hope he gets better." Kyle was quiet. "That's it? What else is there?" "I don't know. I guess I expected you to be angrier." I smiled slightly. I already spent that anger. That was true. There was nothing left to spend on Ethan. Work continued going well. The Carson project became one of the biggest accounts our team had handled, and months later, my manager called me into her office. For half a second, old anxiety kicked in. Then she smiled. "We want you leading the next account." I blinked. "Leading it?" "You've earned it." Those 3 words stayed with me all day. You've earned it. Not because I cleaned up someone else's mess. Not because I tolerated something painful. Not because I proved I could forgive. Because I had done good work. That evening, I bought myself dinner at a restaurant I had wanted to try for months. Alone. I sat by the window, ordered whatever I wanted, and realized I didn't feel lonely. There is a difference between being alone and being abandoned. I knew that now. Weeks later, another mutual friend told me Ethan had moved out of the apartment. Apparently, he couldn't afford it and ended up renting a room closer to work. Melissa had fully reconciled with her partner and blocked him. I was told Ethan stopped talking to several friends because they had taken my side. None of that made me happy. But none of it made me sad either. It simply belonged to his life now, not mine. Sometimes people asked whether I regretted leaving without giving him another chance. I always thought about that word, chance. He had chances. Every message he typed to Melissa was a chance to stop. Every hotel detail was a chance to reconsider. Every flirtatious reply was a chance to choose our relationship. And even after I discovered everything, he had one last chance to tell the truth. Instead, he told me nothing had happened. So nothing counted. People sometimes mistake forgiveness for permission to continue. I didn't. I could forgive Ethan someday. Maybe I already had. But forgiveness didn't mean I had to return to a relationship where the basic rules of loyalty had become a courtroom argument. 6 months became 8. Then nearly a year. My apartment slowly stopped feeling new. Pictures appeared on the walls. Books filled the shelves. I bought plants, and somehow managed not to kill most of them. Maya became one of my closest friends. I traveled for work. I laughed more. And one Saturday morning, while cleaning out a drawer, I found the photo I had taken of the note before I left. Now something happened. I left. I stared at it. Back then, those words had felt sharp, almost defiant. Now they felt different. Simple. Necessary. I deleted the photo. Not because I wanted to erase what happened, because I didn't need proof anymore. I knew why I left. I knew what I saw. I knew what I deserved. That was enough. Ethan had spent months insisting he technically never cheated. Maybe by his definition, he hadn't. But relationships don't survive on technicalities. They survive on trust. And trust had already checked into room 412 2 days before either of us ever arrived there. I never needed to catch him inside that hotel. I only needed to believe what he had already shown me. So I did. And leaving turned out to be the first honest thing that happened between us in a very long time.